We went to a flea market and they had the most overpriced comic books we have ever seen. This would have been $50. Insane. But they had some cool stuff, so check out the video. So like I said in the opening, I expect the thrift shop to be like the video.
But shit, it was 99 cents.
I'm going to pop some tags.
Only got $20.
I expect to go there and get deals. So I visited, we were on a trip to, this is our third episode. We visited 2 comic shops and now we're visiting a thrift shop in New Hope, Pennsylvania. Love Saves the Day.
Which was originally on 2nd Avenue, right near St. Mark's Place in the Village.
It opened in 1966 in New York.
Right.
And now it's moved.
I used to visit it when it was in its Manhattan location.
There you go.
When I was younger.
Moved to New Hope, Pennsylvania.
I had no idea it moved to New. I thought it just went out of business.
No, there you go. It moved to New Hope. My assumption is that the rent in New Hope, Pennsylvania is much cheaper than the rent would be in Manhattan.
By the way, that was the first time when I went to Love Saves the Day the first time in Manhattan. It was the first time I saw the Alien Big Chap figure since I was in my childhood.
And they had a lot of stuff like that.
And I was like, oh my God, I had that.
They had a lot of vintage toys. They had comic books. It's on the main strip, not far from Phantasm Comics, and it's actually right across the street from a bookstore called Farley Books.
Oh,
I think I should automatically get a discount when I go in there.
A lot of books about you.
A lot of books about, it's about the Farley family. It was just a regular, normal bookstore.
The epic history of the Farley family.
So have you ever been to New Hope?
No.
Okay, so New Hope, there's main New Hope, the town where they have a lot of boutiques and shops, and then not far from there is a place called Peddler's Village where they have more like Thomas Kincaid, they have like a Cladder shop, they have a German shop. So
Master of Light.
They have a bunch of restaurants. They actually had, right now, they had sandcastle art going on. It's a nice little town. My wife and kids go every winter. They do their Christmas shopping there. We had nothing to do, so we figured we'd go, and like we went to all of these stores. 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Okay. Not bad at all. So that's we're going to try to go back. Brian wants to visit Newcomb Comics. So but this Love Saves the Day, like Brian was saying, he originally saw the Alien figure there. It had a lot of vintage toys and a lot of comic books, which as soon as Cassidy wanted to go in, she wanted to look at clothing. I was like, all right, cool, I'll go in. And I was pleasantly, they have.
Oh, because they didn't have clothing in the Manhattan location.
I was pleasantly surprised at the stuff they had. They had some of the old Ben Cooper Star Wars Halloween costumes. I love those. Yeah. They had these huge Kiss figures.
Oh, the 12-inch ones.
All 4 of them. They had all 4 of them. The things they're absolutely huge. They had a Spider-Man toy pinball machine, which I considered. They had Meagle figures.
Nice.
Right. As soon as you walk in, they have an old fortune teller machine that still works.
Oh, like in big?
It's not exactly one like that, but it's like in the same essence as that. But the problem that I had with this thrift shop is most stuff was completely overpriced.
I gotta say, the Village location when I used to visit felt the same way. Everything was very expensive.
Okay, so if I go into a thrift shop, like I said in the intro, I expect it to be not expensive. I expect to pay like thrift. I would pay.
Thrift means inexpensive.
That's in my opinion. That's how I see a thrift shop. So when it comes to comic books, I know pricing on most comic books, and I know what I spend on the comic books that I buy. And this place was by far the most overpriced on comic books I have ever seen anywhere. And they had a case filled with more expensive things. Yeah. Like I had an old Batman, and I get that there's but then they had like an old rack. Yeah. And the prices were like some examples. Superman Unchained, number 1. They had it for $49.99.
That's very expensive for that book.
eBay, $1 to $6 maybe
Yeah,
at the most.
yeah.
We go to conventions, we find them in the dollar bin.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men 184, $39.
What's in 184?
Nothing. It's a $5 book.
Right.
230, which I actually recently bought in a dollar bin, they had it for $39 also. They also had, if you saw our previous video, I bought a Amazing Spider-Man for $1. They had an issue before that for $49.99.
Now, were they in like pristine
No,
condition?
they were
Really?
in a rack,
Okay.
bent in a rack.
Oh, yeah, no,
piled
that's-
4 or 5 deep. They had a bunch of G.I. Joes, $50. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, who in their right mind would buy these?
People
One.
who don't know.
Two, that was my second thought, how bad business it is to sell those at that price to
Yeah.
people who don't know.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of scamming people.
To me, a complete scam. Like, I get it when you go into a comic shop and they have a book and it's listed as $5, and if you go and look at it in one of the price guides, it's $5. I get that. That's a comic shop. They go by prices. I expect to pay less, but I understand that. But when you're selling something for, 200 times what it's worth,
Right. Yeah.
you made no effort to look and see what it should be sold for, and you completely are overpricing something. I guarantee you that they've never really sold any comic books in there.
No, probably not. No.
And even like
Because-
the toys were expensive too, though.
Yeah, a lot of that. I remember in their village location, a lot of stuff was very
So
expensive.
I was
Yeah.
very, very disappointed in this visit there. But I salvaged it somewhat. Across the street as we were walking, they were selling books to help support the local library. So I abandoned Love Saves the Day because the prices were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I went to that book. All of us went to bookstore, and I bought this interesting little thing.
Oh, look at that.
And it was only $2. And I was like, this is, I'm a fan of the movie. It's not the best movie ever made,
Oh, no.
but it is definitely
It's not the worst movie ever made either.
definitely an iconic movie, and there's a toy line that goes with it.
Make no mistake, Jack Slater is the last action hero.
Ripper, you're looking sharp today.
Whack!
Big mistake.
Cool, Slater talks! Whack! Welcome, Slater. Jack, help! Pull up a chair.
Heads up.
Yo!
Danny, don't let them get away.
Oh no!
You guys still hanging around?
Sound Punch Slater and Chair Crashing Slater talk and make sound effects. Other figures sold separately.
And
There
they-
is.
So
There
I
is.
picked this up $2 and it salvaged that run. And luckily, we went to Phantasm and I bought comics, and we went to Nukem and bought comics. But let me tell you, Love Saves the Day.
Yeah. They were always very expensive.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
I expect the thrift shop to be cheap. So
We used to go from St. Mark's, and again, this is going to date me big time if anybody remembers St. Mark's Place back in the day.
Yep.
We used to buy bootleg tapes from the tape guy out in front of Trash and Vaudeville. We'd go inside Trash and Vaudeville, look around at clothes we couldn't afford, but
Right.
that were in punk rock clothes. We would say hi to the kids outside Coney Island High. We'd stop at St. Mark's Comics, and then we'd go around the corner, go to Love Saves Day, and look at toys we used to have.
but you
then
couldn't. But it was expensive
couldn't
then
afford-
too.
no, we
Okay,
couldn't
so it's
afford it.
always been expensive. So if you've
Yeah.
had an experience at Love Saves the Day, either the New York location or the New Hope location, leave a comment. We'd like to hear about your experience. If you've bought anything, listen, they had a lot of cool stuff there. They had a lot of old toys and stuff, and it's cool to look at. But I don't want to spend a fortune. I want to spend $16 like I bought the Star Wars figure in Nukem Comics. I want cheap. They had Star Wars figures, but the price were ridiculous. So.
Yeah, right.
In this case, I could not love what I collected.
Could not collect what you loved.
Stay tuned for our next episode.
We would be honored if you would join us.